Hello, everyone out there, and welcome back to the Elite Racing Network for tonight's Grand National Series race, the Bristol 175, live from, you guessed it, Bristol Motor Speedway. And joining me in the booth tonight, as always, is Jacob Adams and the producer, the head of ERN, the guy who keeps all of us in line, Dave Huck. Guys, we had a great race last weekend, a little bit of strategy play, a lot of cautions early last week. We've been talking about, for a long time now, it feels like a couple weeks, coming to Bristol and what this was going to entail. Well, I don't think anybody envisioned quite the handling issues these guys are having out here tonight that we've been seeing in practice with the rear grip or lack thereof. So what are you guys expecting to see out here tonight? We'll start with you, Jake. What do you think we're going to see, and will we see a green flag run over 15 laps?
Yeah, saw in the driver chat they're talking about practicing over a second quicker than they qualified here last time they were in Xfinity, and also some handling issues getting into the corners. With that in mind and the cautions, Gerald Campbell set the line at 13 and a half. So there in the YouTube chat, go ahead and get your bets in.
Yeah, and we'll wait until the green flag drops to say whether we're taking the over or the under. But Dave, we're getting ready to run this Bristol race. You had a great run last night in Pocono, Pennsylvania in the trucks. We had a lot of green flag racing last night. What do you think we're going to see tonight? A little more of the same, or quite
I'll
the
be the
opposite?
optimist and say we're going to see maybe 5 cautions, and it'd be odd, like full moon type thing where they're really, really green flag laps and everybody likes each other.
That's quite optimistic there, Dave.
You got to try to be. Got to believe.
Right,
you got to believe.
Speaking into existence, we are here at the fastest half mile. We're going to see some action. A lot of times, though, when these setups are loose, like they were talking about tonight, how they don't have grip, we do get surprised when we go into these races and everybody says it's going to be a wreck fest, and we typically get a long green flag run. And I feel like this is the track that once you get into the rhythm, we could possibly see a long green flag run. Maybe, dare I say, a set of green flag pit stops.
Yeah, we all can hope we get green flag pit stops, but that would just about mean we only have like maybe 3 or 4 cautions in the race. That'd be great to see, great for me to see, but wishful thinking, I think.
Well, as we get ready to roll off here, let's take a look at this starting lineup. Brandon Wilkerson is out front. Scott Crump there in second. Tyler Fody, Ethan Burrell, Tommy Ryan, Jeff Green, Jonathan Cutlip, Joshua Chin, R.C. Enerson, and Chad Frankenfield are in the top 10. We got Cale Pocock right there in 11th. Tate Lytle, Gerald Campbell, Ethan Stanley, Johnny Thomas round out your top 15. Won't you take us through the next 10 there, Jake?
Yeah, after Johnny, we've got Tom Bourne in 16th, Matthew Weeks, last night's winner in 17th, J.P. Phillips 18th, Gavin Higgins, Michael Hossack round out the top 20, Josh Adams 21st, Dylan Haver 22nd, Jared Rixon 23rd, and Dusty Dewar 24th.
Yeah, and rounding out the field, we got Robin. We got Jay Knorr back there, Leighton Norgard, Frank Fody all the way back there right next to Michael Goodman and Hunter Smith. Harry's back there in 31st. Joe Francis. We got CTG back there all the way in 33rd. Corey Habit, Kyle Hanshaw, David Tooker back there in 36th. Not quite the qualifying run he was hoping to have. Seth, we got series sponsor Mark here for the Rebilas Photography Series back in 38th. David Carpenter in 39th with Racimus and Brent Jones running out the field. And we got about 30 seconds. Jake, Dave, right here in quick succession. Who y'all got to win tonight?
Let's say I'm just going to do a quick scroll on my roster list here. Whoever my arrow ends on is who it's going to be, and that is going to be J.P. Phillips.
I'll do the same thing and say Jeff Green.
We got J.P. Phillips. We got Jeff Green. I'm going to take the short track ace, Scott Crump, as the field comes through 3 and 4. Pace car is going to pull down. And we are set to go here. Green is out, and we are green from Bristol. Ooh, not a great start for that inside lane. Might my pick have gotten the black flag? Nope, I don't believe so. All clear right there. Not a great start for our leader. Side by side down into turn 3, still for the lead. I've heard that the top is pretty sketchy tonight. Everybody looks clean so far. Just how careful do you think these guys are being here to start, Jake, after what they all experienced in practice?
Yeah, we all heard they were a little bit iffy about getting down into the corners. I imagine probably dialing in some more brake to make that transition a little easier, a little smoother. I just feel like most of the guys, Scott Crump, Josh Adams in particular, basically ran the race distance in practice. So I would expect most of the guys should be okay. But, back deeper in the field, guys trying to make their track position early, probably be watching deeper in the field for guys trying to make things happen.
And what we're seeing there with the battle for the lead, and you're seeing it here with John and whatnot here, but, the battle for the lead, look at that thing. 2 lanes, 2 viable lanes. That's something we have not seen at Bristol a lot in the past. You either come here and it's the bottom, or you come here and it's the top. But it looks like both these lanes are working pretty good. In my talks with some drivers, they said it was really hard to get the power down off the top. It was real slick up there. I do think that'll get better as the race goes along. They lay down some more rubber. So I think once that rubber gets laid down, they'll be in a way better spot, and they'll be able to get that power down a little bit easier. And you're seeing the track already darken up in certain spots here where these guys are running all over it. Scott's really starting to push that top side, right? Caution on the front stretch. The 9 cars around. I think everybody missed him. Absolutely incredible single car incident here right out of the midfield. He's running on the top side. We talked about it already. We've hit on how little grip they have going back to the throttle. He's going to get sideways. He's going to bounce off of Dylan. He's going to hit the wall with the nose. Look at Dustin Dewar, Frank Fody. Great job by those guys. Leighton Norgard getting down there. Absolutely incredible job by everybody missing that 9 car of Jay right there. And that brings out our first caution. So pretty clean start for us. I believe Jake has already assessed the tallies. We look at Josh Robin dodging this wreck.
Yeah,
a little bit of contact.
That was a pretty easy one there. Just a self spin on the 9, and then unfortunately some other cars got involved in it. But just a pretty cut and dry one there.
And that was a great job by everybody missing the field. We had some comers and goers there. Chad Frankenfield started 10th. He drove up to 7th. We got some, Chad was one of the biggest movers right there. Trying to look back through here at some of the guys who really moved forward. And Chad looks like he was, Frank Fody gained 3 spots as well. Looking for David Tooker. David Tooker went from 36th to 30th, so that short little run, some guys really moved forward. Of course, Jay has given up all his track position, and we do have 41 cars out here tonight, guys. Like, that's a lot of cars. We don't have 40 plus every week, so quite a lot of guys showing up tonight.
Yeah, the nice thing about that, everybody that showed up got to race. We didn't have to send anybody home, so it was nice. Everybody that showed up got to race. We talked a little about Chad Frankenfield there. Last night during the Juicy Spider truck race, he led the most laps, was leading with 7 or 8 laps to go, and had to make a green flag pit stop for fuel. So you just wonder how much confidence Chad got for this particular series from how good his run was last night.
I just thought about it too. That truck race last night, our Xfinity race last week, our Mark Rebilas photography race last week. Each came down to fuel mileage at the end with guys running out, and we had, quite a lot of guys run out of fuel last night in the last lap and a half of that truck race, so.
Yeah, that's been our trend so far this season is fuel mileage racing, tire management racing as we get ready to go back green with Brandon Wilkinson. Back on, great jump for him. He's going to get clear of Scott, it looks like this time.
Much better start. Last time he was sleeping a little bit on the start. Of course, it is easier for that guy in second to time the initial start because you have to wait for the flag, so you can't, as the leader, leave early. And this time, the leader has control and can go anywhere in that restart zone, so no surprise, I guess, to see him leave a little better there. As you see Jeff Green on the outside of Ethan Burrell. Got Josh Chin on the outside of Tyler Fody right now as well. First and second, single filed out. See these guys trying to work the bottom. Jeff's trying to go up and work the wall. Gets a great launch there off of 2. And Jeff I believe was Dave's pick to win the night. Trying to find his confidence, find his mojo. It's been a couple of struggling weeks, especially in the Cup side, where it's been quite the poor start for Jeff, but trying to get the ship righted. See if he can accomplish that tonight in Bristol. You see this lane moving closer and closer to the wall. These guys are starting to flirt with it now.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys, like spoke about Jeff Green there, just looking for a good run. Chad had his good run last night, trying to back it up tonight. There's a lot of guys in this particular series that are due for good runs. Matthew Weeks, Josh Adams in particular, that have kind of had down seasons to this point. And you would look for this place, for Josh especially, to be a place where Mr. Labani can try and rebound.
That's right, Josh Labani. And this was always one of Terry's best tracks. Terry Labani was always so good here at Bristol. If not for Dale, he might have won him another Bristol race. But yeah, you keep talking about Chad's good run last night. I mean, I don't know if Chad led all those laps on outright pace. There was a lot of different strategies, and ultimately, he had a great run. But he was one of those guys that had to pit for fuel, ran out of gas there at the end, and finished outside the top 20, I believe. So a whole lot of strategy played out last night that it took all the way to the end to kind of put everybody where they thought they could be.
Yeah, the thing that really did him in last night was leading the race. He was looking great out there leading the race, but unfortunately, being the leader, he wasn't able to back off as much as most of those guys and save the fuel he needed. He was really one of only a handful of guys that actually had to make the pit stop.
Here's all I know. My truck and Dave Huck's truck, we did not run out of gas there at the end.
Nope, I had 4 laps good.
Right now, we're seeing everybody move to the wall for the most part, though, as this groove widens out.
Brandon Wilkinson has kept his 07 car right on the bottom of the track the entire run. That's really good for the tires here around Bristol. If you go down there and you just paint the line, you run the bottom, your tires are going to thank you for it later.
I will say this though, since the start of the season, this is one of the races I had circled as we got a caution.
Another yellow out.
I believe it is the 30 car. We look for it on the replay. You're heading down towards turn 1. Oh, he just gets that sideways on entry, trying to chase it there. Oh, look at Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle Hanshaw does a great job to miss him. Unfortunately, that little bit of contact right there sent Connor Thompson back straight, so it's kind of unfortunate we got a yellow to ruin that run right there. But we'll go ahead and make that call for a tally on Connor Thompson for a self-spin.
But I will tell you this. I was getting ready to hit on it. This is one of those tracks I had, circled, and it's not done yet. We're halfway there. The new tire model, the way the surface reacts and everything, I've been looking forward to getting a lot of these multi-group races. If this race was a couple weeks later, I believe we're getting a new updated scan of Bristol this week in the new build. So I would love for this to be next week, just a little bit sooner than what we would like it to be, to see everything come to fruition. But to see how this multi-groove stuff works out and how all this stuff looks tonight, I've been really looking forward to seeing that in action.
Yeah, speaking of the new build, we're getting the new ARCA car for the next season of the ARCA that starts, I believe April 1st is the first points paying race. And the big thing about that, brand new vehicle, everybody's going to be on a level playing field. We're going to have about a month to practice the car and get everybody acclimated, and that should be a lot of fun for that series to finally get a new car after that ARCA car has been used on iRacing since basically the inception of the sim.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that new ARCA series. I wish I could run it. I might drop the H out of my name and see if I can sneak in there as Chris Wright with no H. Run a few races.
You're welcome to come to Monza on the 25th.
I think you
Open
can
to
make
everybody.
it, Chris, if you drop the K or you drop the C and add a K. That that Xfinity driver, Chris Wright, probably couldn't even make it in our ARCA series.
Yeah, I can't do that. I tell you, that guy has set the name Chris Wright back at least 50 years, and I just don't. I feel like if they're spelled with the K, you know what? I don't want to offend anybody out there, so I'm not going to say anything else. But that guy set the name back 50 years.
Got another
Nonetheless,
restart here with Brandon Wilkinson taking off. Another great jump for him.
yeah, great jump. Big gap there between Gerald Campbell and R.C. Anderson. And that's going to let Tate Lytle slide up there off of 2.
Those
Tate's
guys
gonna
had
go back
some
to the bottom.
contact last night in the truck race that ended up with both of them in the inside wall on a restart.
Well, I believe I heard them out here when I came into the session, and they made up, they hugged it out, talked about how much they love each other, and both of them said it wasn't either of their own doing. It was a couple other guys out there that caused the stack up that wrecked them last night. So they've hugged it out. And Gerald right now is moving forward all the way up there against the wall.
As Wilkinson has pulled away here, the battle is for second between Scott Crump and there's that man again, Josh Chen. We've seen him running up inside the top 5 a lot recently in this series. He's definitely starting to make a name for himself in the stock cars.
Yeah, moving forward, flying high right now. Oh, Chad Frankenfield bounces off of Tommy Ryan back there, gets sideways, but they keep on keeping on. And Chad did drop the throwback scheme as well back in that red car.
It's a little bit of contact with R.C. Anderson last time out of turn 4. Also, Tommy Ryan in the wall. R.C. does a great job getting down to the bottom and avoiding hitting him.
I think Chad thought he could slide up in front of that 66, and he just couldn't quite get clear. It's going to take a pretty committed slide job down here.
Yeah, he drove it off real deep and got it done that time. R.C. is going to be able to get in front of the 66 also.
Yeah, the 66 moving backwards. Here comes John Cutlip. John's almost clear. Can he get it done? Not quite, but I think one more good corner. I think John will get him off of 2 and slide up if he wants it. No, John choosing to be nice. John said, I'm not even going to act like I'm going to cut you off at all.
There, he did it. He got it done that time. That moves John up into 9th place, and his teammate Tate following right through.
And Tommy's bailing on the top. He said, you know what? That wasn't working for me. He goes to the bottom, and I think that worked worse.
Yeah, he's got JT going around his outside now. 83 belly up car.
That's 66. He's like, man, I was in the top backing up. I'm in the bottom backing up. What in the world? He's going to lose the spot to Johnny, like you mentioned. Here comes Gerald.
Now Tom Bourne, we've seen him pretty committed to the bottom, but he, looking up ahead, he sees this 66 backing up on the bottom, and he's chose to go to the top. Gerald on the wall a little bit, 3 wide.
I was a little worried if Josh was going to know that he was 3 wide or not there. He's had a little bit of issues knowing when he's 3 wide and when he's not here the last few weeks.
See Josh on the inside of Gerald. We hit on it earlier. Josh in desperate need of a good run. For his season, if he wants any chance to make the playoffs at all, I definitely think he needs to visit Victory Lane one of these times in the next, after tonight, 4 weeks, as this is one of 5 races left until the playoffs start.
Yeah, and I think Josh would tell you this is probably his best shot to win. He's really good at Bristol, and he's got a feel for this place, but that was with the old Bristol, the old tires stuff, the old, before we got this multi-groove stuff worked out. But Josh does look like he's a little bit behind tonight. Maybe the same old stuff doesn't work like it used to. He cannot make that work on the bottom right now. He is stuck down. Oh, Gerald Campbell up into the fence.
This should probably help him make the pass down here if he decides to drive in a little bit harder. Doesn't seem like he's gonna.
Oh, we got Jeff Green looking underneath Josh Chin up here towards the front, trying to make that pass.
Contact.
Yeah, Jeff being aggressive. Jeff wants to win. He's got that drive. 2000 NASCAR Busch Series champion Jeff Green wants to get up here, have a shot to win this race, and he knows to do it. He's going to have to be aggressive. He's going to take what is his, stay up at the front. Right now, Brandon is driven out about 2 seconds on these guys, so they got to figure something out if they're going to go get Brandon tonight. Maybe they'll snooker him and he'll pit, and the whole field will agree to stay out one time, and then we'll see how fast Brandon is.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see the bottom come in really good for John and Tate, but it seems like everybody else has kind of given up on it and migrated back to the top. As I say that, Burrell and Fody are both going to go to the bottom.
I was actually thinking quite the opposite. I think John pulled down to make a pass. He's given up a couple spots. Ethan Burrell's given up a spot. I think the bottom is going away here. Which I think if these cars did take off free, they couldn't really work the top because you need to be a little bit snug to run the top. You don't want to be tight, but you need to be a little bit snug. And so these cars are probably tightening up, and that's giving these guys the ability to really lay the pedal down on the exit of these corners. John's back in big time.
Josh Chen way loose right there. So does Fody decide to slide up in front of him? Gets in that. He got in there. Took advantage of that four-wheel slide that Josh Chen found himself in. Now Josh is going to be under fire from Ethan in the 37. You see Tate looking outside of Jeff Green.
Yeah, right there. Like we saw it at the same time. And Scott Crump all of a sudden is the fastest car. It's like Scott was sitting there saving. I think Scott was saving, and all of a sudden he is running down our leader in a big hurry.
Yeah, we're definitely. I'm gonna go back and probably eat my words there. I think we're seeing the demise of the bottom lane, and Wilkinson, he's stayed pretty committed to it. As you see there on the ticker, Scott Crump has been running the top. Wilkinson stayed committed to the bottom, and Scott's making that ground up on him.
One thing I will say right now is John Cutlip was running up there about 6th or 7th, and he pulled down to the inside to make a pass. And I think Tate's trying to be nice to him, telling him to get on up here. But John's choosing to stay on the bottom. He says, hey, he probably sees that 93, and he knows one good slide out of that 93 in front of that top lane, he'll check that top lane up. I think that 93 is really fading hard here. Oh, Johnny Thomas in the wall.
Yeah, Johnny tried to get in there. RC got a little loose. Johnny was trying to get up there and make the pass.
And see, that's what John was waiting for, some kind of issue. Oh, we're 3 wide back here. David Tooker trying to make it 3 wide. Backed out of it. Everybody's starting to lose tires. Some guys who were saving starting to move forward. I mean, we are seeing a lot of different lines right now. This is good stuff right here. All through this field right now. The racing, I mean, you see it right here on the shot, on that wide shot there. All the way back through there, you're looking at the John Cutlip group, the group behind him with Jared Rexy and Gavin Higgins, Matthew Weeks. Like, you're seeing Tom Bourne, Tommy Ryan, Kate Lytle all running different lanes. All these guys, it looks like there's 3 usable lanes depending on how you want to run through this corner.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of action. We're luckily a lot of green flag racing. And if that continues, I just actually went and started watching what Brandon Wilkinson is looking at out of his windshield, and he's going to have lap traffic here within, I don't know, 15, 20 laps.
Yeah, and there's
a lot of cars really up there that he's waiting to pass. And we're going to see how he decides to go about passing the lap traffic, and we should probably see the 90 right on his bumper here pretty soon.
Yeah, and right now I'm looking here. we're seeing some guys start to run like this middle lane. You know, I'm looking back here in the field at Josh Adams. He's not running the bottom. He's not running the top. He's running right in the middle. He's running higher than the 10, lower than all the guys on the wall. And there's been a couple times he could have gotten in the middle of 3, and he backed out of that 3 wide move. So you're seeing Matthew Weeks. David Toker started back there around 40th, and he's cracked the top to 20. And he's in this group just trying to move forward.
Look at Cutlip there, still trying to make that bottom work on RC, but just can't manage to get anywhere past his door number, really. That's about the furthest up he's been in the last number of laps.
I think Gerald Campbell is somebody who has used his tires up. He's used the good off of all his tires. He's really starting to struggle. I think we've talked about him a few times. That 93, I don't think he's got anything left for tires. I think he's in a bad way right now. We keep talking about John Cutlip. Well, John's finally, like, everybody who was behind that 93 is now moving. It's the opposite lane of whatever that 93 is in, is the lane that's moving.
Yeah, and Josh is going to have to put that in his memory bank for later if we do happen to get a yellow and another green flag run, to just remember what he did that time and try and save a little bit this next time so that he doesn't backslide again. But of course, if that does happen, he's going to have to be driving pretty hard to get his track position back. So it's really
we got RC blinking there. RC just had a big blink here on the front stretch. He came right back, but Tom Bourne tried to do a slider, could not pull it off.
Yeah, now RC has gotten himself stuck on the bottom and has fallen back into the clutches of Jared Rexing, Josh Adams. That group back there with is Tom Bourne.
Yeah, Tom just tried to go to the bottom to make a pass, and
Ethan Burrell, big sideways, almost lost it right next to his teammate. Man, that would have been bad for Pro Edge right there.
Yeah, and we've kind of talked about some of these Pro Edge guys. Matthew Weeks really moving forward. One guy who's not really moving forward, kind of a surprise, is Ethan Stanley. Like, he's passing a couple guys, but then he gets passed by a couple guys, so. Oh, we got a yellow. I think it's David Carpenter. I think it's David Carpenter. Taking a look, they come off of 2. Oh, he's going to hit the wall. Hit the 21. They do a slide. Oh, series sponsor, Mark. Oh, we hate to see that for Mark. That's unfortunate. Oh, man, that's such a terrible feeling there for Mark. Well, the cautions here are quick, and since we moved through that run so fast, they are going to pit under this caution, but we are going to take this opportunity to get on our one mid-race break, so stick with us. On the other side of the break, we'll have the restart, and we'll bring you up to speed on what happened on pit road.
3 years of sellout crowds, 3 years of edge-of-your-seat action, 3 years of jaw-dropping finishes. Worldwide Technology Raceway has rocked the world of NASCAR, and now NASCAR is giving us another reason to celebrate. The 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Championship Playoffs are coming Sunday, September 7th, 2025. Just when you thought the racing couldn't get any more intense, now every single lap matters. One wrong move could be the difference between elimination and being crowned the king. The Enjoy Illinois 300, the Confluence Music Festival, the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, and for the first time in 15 years, the NASCAR Xfinity Series on Saturday, September 6th. Don't be on the outside looking in. See history being made in your own backyard. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
And welcome back to Bristol, where we just had pit stops. Everyone came down, took 4 tires. I don't see any 2-tire takers. I don't see anybody staying out.
Hang on, we're not going green.
They just extended the caution. Not sure. Oh, we got an issue here. We're going to have to ask Jake Adams what's going on with the 07.
Yeah, so he passed the pace car on pit entry, and on iRacing that's a no-no, so it's got an EOL there for that.
Well, there it is. You can't pass the pace car. We have seen that in real life. We did have stage 1 end early here in this race, and we did not even talk about it. We are working through some issues here with some lineup issues. We've got it extended again. Nonetheless, this has been a very clean race for the Dave was super optimistic in the pre-race. Dave, this has been a lot more towards you than towards Jake. So I'll tell you this: we've already had more green flag laps tonight than I thought we'd get in the whole race. So, and I hear Gerald talking about it. Gerald might be listening to us as we get ready to restart here. Both incidents have been single car incidents too. Nobody's got any real major damage. Lake Norman out front right now. He's going to share the front row. We will see just how fast that 07 is. We talked about wanting to get him to the back, see how fast he was, or not wanting to get him to the back. I don't want to say we were rooting against the guy, but we said maybe he'll pit and everybody will stay out. Well, now we're going to find out what kind of speed is actually in that 07 car. Can he come back from this penalty here of passing the pace car? Green flag is out. Great jump there for Scott Crump. Great jump for the inside lane altogether. Kind of surprised as teammates that Fody didn't take off a little bit better than that. Jeff Green's hunting this lead on the bottom. We saw Scott run the top and really save tires. I would imagine Scott might be willing to let Jeff get out there and say, go ahead, Jeff. You drive away. You burn your stuff up. I'm going to save my tires, and I'll see you in 30 or 40 laps.
Yeah, it's definitely changed the outlook of the race without Wilkinson up here leading anymore. We saw him just commit to the bottom and drive away, and now we'll see Jeff Green has made the cleared Scott Crump. We'll see if he can't set sail.
Yeah, and we are done with pit stops. If the race were to somehow run green to the end, there will not be another pit stop. Now, what would be, how would you attack the rest of this race if you're Jeff Green sitting here in the lead? Do you just run hard, run away, and say, we're going to get a caution in 30 or 40 laps and everybody's going to take tires? Or do you sit here right off the nose of the 90 and say, I'm going to just run hard enough?
Yeah, I think if I'm Jeff right now, I probably am just, going hard and just trying to keep the lead. It is Bristol, after all. I know we did just have around a 50-lap run or whatever right there. But you can't always expect that, and that there's probably a yellow around the corner. So yeah, I would probably just be waiting for that caution and try and lead as much as I can.
In a 50-lap run, we talked about Scott, that it had flipped to where he was the fastest car on the racetrack, but he hadn't got there and made the pass yet. There was a flip-flop in lap times, and Scott was coming, but yet, it'll take 60 or 70 laps for that all to play out. We see one thing here is a big yellow down there. John Cutlip still running the bottom. I don't think he's ran the top hardly at all tonight.
Yeah, the way he's going, he's probably not going to run the top unless somebody makes him run the top. And
Oh, the 66 is spinning here off of 4. He's going to save it on the apron. A lot of track position given up, but kept the race car.
yeah, back here watching.
Oh, Tom
Wilkinson's
Bourne. There might be
drive.
oil down there in 3 and 4. Tom Bourne's around.
It's a nice save right there by Tom. There he is. Wilkinson has clawed his way back to 24th already, so he's making quick work. He's been right around the bottom, passing all those guys, and now he's running around the top of Frank Fody. He's definitely wasting no time getting back to the top 20 as we've got another yellow on the track.
Yeah, and I think it is the belly-up sports machine of Kyle Hanshaw here. And I know you're about ready to have to do some work here, Jake, but did you update us on the tally for the last caution in that incident?
Yeah, the last incident was a tally on the 71. Dave Carpenter, I think we saw it on the replay, bounced off the wall, collected up the guys on the inside. I believe that was Mark, and which is an unfortunate end for both of those, but that was a tally on the 71. Right here on this one, pretty easy self-spin on Kyle Hanshaw, so that'll be a tally on the 46.
All of our incidents tonight, though, have been single-car incidents, not multi-crashes, not multi-car crashes like we typically see at Bristol. Really no severe damage tonight. It's been a relative... Dare I say this is the cleanest Bristol race I think we've ever had in Elite to this point. And I think we are going to take an opportunity to talk to somebody who we never talked to up here. Somebody I talked to in the pre-race, and he was talking about his run tonight, and we're going to bring him up here. We're going to see what he's got going on. We are now joined by CTG Connor Thompson. Connor, talk to us about the race. You know, it's a lot cleaner than everybody expected. What's your outlook here for these last 75 laps?
Yeah, I'm kind of racing with a new setup today, so I'm kind of struggling to kind of hit the wall, bent the steering, and just trying to figure out how to this new force feedback setup. And I didn't know everybody braked with the left foot, so I'm trying to learn how to do that too. So I'm kind of struggling.
You're kind of struggling, you said, but you know, Bristol, you know, these cautions got to be right around the corner, right? It's been relatively clean. All our cautions have been single car spins. You know, one of them was you with a great piece of driving out there, a great save out there, even though the caution did come out. So, talk to us about the car and the difference here from practice to the race, where all of a sudden you guys are good to go. And shout out your sponsors real quick too. We won't hold you up here. You're getting one to go.
Yeah, thank you to AB Quality and Seth for the great designs. Car's a little bit kind of, I feel like it's tight entering, and then off the corner I'm kind of spinning the tires. So just trying to get it under me and race clean to the end. Thank you guys for all y'all do.
All right, Connor, thanks for giving us a minute here. Good luck the rest of the race. We'll be sure to talk about you. Come back and talk to us there with that top 3 later.
Oh, God. All right.
Well, that was Connor Thompson. Had to cut it short there just a little bit as the green flag is about to come out, and we don't want him to be in here when he could be down there. Green is back out. Great start for our... Well, Fody picked the top right there. Great start for Tyler Fody on the top. Gets clear, pulls down in front of Jeff Green. Scott Crump cannot quite get second place. You know, for them to be teammates, they are not orchestrating these restarts out real well to get them both the first and second.
Right, yeah, typically, you know, Tyler, you would think is telling Scott when, hey, I'm going here, and you try and go with me, and you know, we can both get clear of the inside line. I think Scott got up there and gave Fody a little bit of a bump. I don't know if maybe that was happening and they just slowed down when Scott gave the bump, but nonetheless wasn't able to get clear, and he's got John Cutlip to his inside.
Yeah, John is Mr. Guy on the bottom tonight in big yellow there. He's got Chad Frankenfield a couple car lengths behind him, Ethan Burrell back there, Josh Adams as well working that bottom side. Meanwhile, you got Tate Lott all of a sudden, you know, for all our heavy hitters making their way forward. Even Johnny, you know, we haven't talked about him too much. Johnny Thomas has had a great run, you know, new dad. I think this is the last week we can talk about him being a new dad. I think this is, what, the 3rd week here, so
Yeah, by now he's settled into his rhythm. He's got the rhythm on that, and now he's working on getting the rhythm back on the track, and it's looking pretty good right now. He's running 6th place. He's under fire from Chad Frankenfield. He's trying to fit to the outside of Tate Lytle.
Tate's doing a good job of playing both sides of the street. Something we talk about at the super speedways, but it does, on these short tracks like Bristol where there's, a couple different lanes. Like Tate's doing a good job being in front of the bottom side to slow him up when he needs to, moving up in front of Johnny, giving him nowhere to go. And that's putting a lot of faith in Johnny Thomas as well as Chad gets sideways down there on the bottom. Because some guys, if you do that to them, and after the second or third time, they'll just, give you a big bump, turn you sideways, whatever it may be, and say, hey, look, that was like the third time. Third time you've moved up right in front of me. I ain't lifting.
Yeah, I was waiting for one of those times if Johnny and Chad stayed side by side with Tate working both sides for them to be like, hey, you guys aren't going to do that anymore. We're going to put you in the middle.
Well, Chad's the guy that would probably do it, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, Chad running the bottom. I think probably what Cutlip's doing a really good job at is he's probably waiting just a hair longer to get back in the gas, and I'm pretty sure that's what bit Chad there. Just got back in the gas a little bit too soon. Drove sideways up off the corner, and he's paying the price for it. He's lost about 5 positions.
And there he gets back to the top. Oh, we got the 07 down there. Forces the 40s. We're wrecking. Seth Rawls, the 60, the 38. I think that all started with the 07 of Brandon coming down across the apron, shooting back up the racetrack. We'll see it on the replay here, but I just seen the 07 drive straight up the track there. Okay, yeah, so he's going to bounce off the 54. Ooh, the 54 gets the wall right there. Gets into the 07. The 07 in a big slide. 41 gives him room. The 25 and the 41 just make contact. The 25 goes around. A Leighton Orgard gets stopped. Yeah, they all see it happening. Just slight contact. There's the 38, the 66, the 60. Oh, Gerald Campbell. Great job, Gerald. What wreck of one is there out of Gerald Campbell? Gerald sees it all happening. Look at that. Wow, that is some driving. And I had to go and pull him up. Gerald, great wreck of one. It's right there. We just rode on board with you as you managed to dodge the first multi-car accident of the night. Talk to us about how your night's going and how you managed to miss that wreck.
I'm good. That was all right. Not a problem. That was tight, man. I puckered through that one. I did not know how I got through it, honestly. I decided that I picked a point where if I hit somebody, it wasn't going to hurt as much, and it just so happened to clear up in that section, because I honestly didn't think I was going to be able to get through that without it wrecking. But hey, there's still plenty of time to get into a wreck, so no one worry. I still have a chance to destroy the car. So it's looking crazy out here. I know we're 1 to green, but yeah, just good luck to you guys up here, because it is loose on exit, and I can only imagine.
And real quick, some sponsor shout-outs here from you before we send you back down there.
Aggressive Eagle, and that's about it.
Well, all right, good luck, Gerald. Come back and talk to us there with that top 3 finish here in about, 50 laps or so.
All right, 10-4. See you guys.
Gerald Campbell, you heard him say he had that pucker factor out there. I believe you have an update on the tally there as well, Jake.
Yeah, that one, as we get back to the restart here, is going to go on the 54. So I got to clear some black flags.
There you heard it. Having to do some work there. Restart, a little bit of chaos on the restart. We had some pit stops there. Tate Lytle Chad Frankenfield, Josh Chan. We had a lot of guys pit right here hoping to get 10 or 15 lap run and then another caution.
Yeah, so real quick, back to the accident. The 54 of Hunter Smith, we saw him bounce off the wall, get Brandon Wilkinson all the way down off the track sideways.
And Ethan Burrell, Gerald Campbell, R.C. Eners. I think it all started with the 56 getting into the back of the 71. That is not what you want, is to be the guys that just came off pit road and... Oh, the 71 got loose in front of the 56. He gets into the 83. Oh, wow. Look at the big net code there between the 83 and the 37. Huge net code. The 50 trying to dodge the chaos. Gerald just couldn't quite miss this one. He called a shot, though. He said there was plenty of time to get involved in a wreck. And you see the 71 coming through. Oh, the 60 gets into the 46, and I mean, everybody's checking up. Some guys aren't checking up too hard. Mark comes flying up in through there as well. Lots of action going on after the caution. Let's take a look at this and see what happens. Oh, and then the 12 gets turned. A lot went on there. I'm not sure. Let's see here. So the wreck, we should be getting the cautions waving. These guys are just checking up for the accident. A 30 comes down into the 12, comes down into his teammate, the 25. I'm not sure I see anything there that's worthy of a tally or... I mean, it's tough to say that... I think if there was, it would be whatever happened with the 46 and the 30 and the 60. Well, Dave, I think I jinked us when I was talking about how clean this race had been and how we were moving forward. And
yep, all your fault.
And our race control is going to have quite the story to tell here in just a second. I hear it coming through already. Jake, you want to talk us through the tallies just issued?
Yeah, so ultimately the actual caution, we had the 71 sideways, and then from my end, I saw, I think you also saw in the broadcast, 2 or 3 different instances of netcode. The guys just trying to avoid each other with the 71. And then we did add a tally to the 46 of Hanshaw and the 60 of Pocock. Hanshaw got up there and drove into the back of the 30. The 60 got up there and drove into the back of the 46.
Well, there you heard it. A long story. Jeff Green says he needs a black cleared. Well, so the restart's under review. That's what they like to say in real life. I don't see a black flag for Jeff, though. Unless, did you already clear the black?
I might have. I cleared one for somebody in the back of the field, and it might have been right at the same time that Jeff came over and said his needed cleared. I believe that was the case.
And I believe I just looked at the restart and I see why. Yeah, Jeff, I believe, launched first, and that is a no-no in the sim. He definitely launched first. So that might have to come back there on Jeff. Race control will look at it here, but I'll go ahead and say that's very unfortunate for Jeff. It looked pretty cut and dry there. He's had a great night. Now he's likely going to have a pass-through. And he's running the top 3 or 4 all night. They are Chad wide back here with Chad Frankenfield, the 07, trying to move through on the bottom.
Can we bring the replay back up on that restart, Dave? My replay went out on.
As while they're looking at this restart here, the racing here on the racetrack, Chad Frankenfield trying to move forward, the 07 trying to move forward, they're 3 wide. Ooh, Josh Adams into the wall. That's going to create a little bit of a stack up. That 07's trying to be pretty aggressive. Oh, they're 3 wide again. The 07 just gets to these guys, pulls to the bottom, makes it 3 wide, and says, I'm going to try to make this work. And he has been consistently making it work. Matthew Weeks trying to stick there in the middle. This looks like Daytona or Talladega a lot more than Bristol. And I believe you have an update on us on the 2 car, but I don't believe that penalty has been issued just yet there, Jake.
Yeah, we were able to go back. I was clearing a penalty for the 60 at the exact time of that restart, and just happened to clear Jeff Green's penalty. I did get back to go and see that it was for cause for launching first before the 40. So unfortunately, Jeff will be making a drive-through penalty, probably bringing his night to an end.
Well, we'll see. Maybe he can catch a caution in the right spot. Like right now is when he would need to catch that caution while he's serving this penalty. I'll tell you what, that 07, while we've been doing all that other stuff and all this other chaos, he is absolutely flying through this field.
Yeah, there wasn't going to be any keeping Brandon Wilkinson down. I don't think here. 3 wide, big
Late
power move
dive.
under Cutlip. Wow.
That was super late.
He
I'm
made
gonna tell
it
you
work.
what.
But
Cutlip is a guy that you are not going to be able to get away with that for long, and he's going to say, hey, look, man, if you're going to make moves like that, I'm not going to give you any room.
yeah, Cutlip ran up towards the middle that time, kind of left the door open to see if, I was waiting to see if Wilkinson would do it again. Now Wilkinson's running the middle of the track. Is he trying to look for the middle? As he goes for that late dive again.
I'm going to tell you, somebody needs to be in Brandon's ear and say, buddy, we're here. We're close enough to win this thing with a couple restarts now. Like, you don't need that mentality that you had back there in 25th. We're back to the front. Let's calm down a little bit. These are the guys you got to race for wins. And they're going to remember when you make moves like that on them.
Yeah, here we're right around 45 laps to go here. And these laps click off in 15 seconds, so before we know it, this thing's going to be over. As Josh gets sideways.
And Josh Adams, we haven't talked about him too much, but here he is up here in 3rd.
That was almost a field killer right there if Josh and Brandon wouldn't have saved it.
This is all, little contact behind him with the 10 and the 5, and we got to document this. The 5 is running the top right now. First time all night. There we go. Jared Rexing looking 3 wide. Rexing trying to move forward on the bottom. The 07's going to get clear. We're starting to see Ethan Stanley creep his way up towards the top 10 for the first time tonight, but he's backing
Josh
up.
on the wall hard.
And that creates a little bit of a stack up back there behind.
So we just talked about Josh getting into 3rd place, and now Cutlip is looking around his outside. I think that one slide that he had down into Wilkinson heated up his tires, and he's paying for it right now. I think maybe he needs a couple laps around the bottom to, cool his stuff back down and see if he can't make another run.
I think he's loose down there too.
Oh, we've got Ethan Stanley. Oh, and Josh head onto the...
Oh, Chad's involved. I think Jeff was down there. Oh, I think it was Chad hit the wall and then... Oh, no. Chad's going to get up and into the wall, bounce off the wall, and come down and right hook Josh Adams. Totally on accident, but it happened. Johnny Thomas gets a big chunk of it. And you know who got super lucky? Ethan Stanley had that big slide off of 4 that knocked him way back behind this pack. And he was able to dodge the chaos because he wasn't there. There you see, this is Ethan Stanley. He's going to get loose and dodge it. Meanwhile, Johnny Thomas is going to be heavily involved in the incident. Maybe. It looks like it might have fixed. Did Johnny's front end fix there? Did he get a little bit of luck from the iRacing gods? Because you're going to see Johnny get severe damage, and then all of a sudden, boom, it comes back.
Yeah, we were talking about Jeff Green needing a caution to rebound from his drive-through, but he just, where he blended back into the track, he blended right into the crash.
We got one driver here in the infield care center. I just now noticed. I'm going to bring him up. It is Ethan Burrell. Ethan, talk to us about your night. You were running up there towards the front. Ultimately got caught up in a wreck there right after a pit stop. I'm guessing, is your night over here?
Oh yeah, she blew up. Yeah, it was unfortunate, man. I was just kind of rolling up there in the top 5 with Jeff Green. He's having a really good run too until his penalty, but everything was going good, and then made the mistake of pitting. And every time I pit here, you get a split strategy, and then there's a wreck somewhere. And unfortunately, it was right in front of me. I wasn't really anything I could do, but the motor was hurt, overheating, and tried to keep running, but it blew up. So we pulled her down into the pit barrels and called it a night.
Yeah, and we are about half a lap away from green. So Ethan, for the next 10 or 15 seconds here, what sponsors you got to thank, and what's the outlook here for the rest of the regular season?
Yep, shout out Pro Edge, all those guys. I know we're all kind of struggling, but hopefully they'll go get it done.
All right, Ethan, we hate to see your run come short. Can't wait to see you next week. And if you're a fan of Ethan, tune in on Wednesday where he'll be in action from the Cup Series as well.
All right, thanks, guys.
That was Ethan Burrell as the green flag comes back out here. And the 07 immediately goes to the top of 3 wide on the 90 with the 10 there. A little bit of a squeeze play. I don't think the 10 knew, but wow. This 07 is being super aggressive.
Oh, and down into Scott Crump, head onto the inside wall.
RC Enerson. Oh, big wreck. John Cutlip.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we're
goodness.
seeing almost a carbon copy of what just happened with Chad with the 07.
Here we go, the 07. Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm going to tell you what, Scott is not going to be happy. For a guy to be making those kind of aggressive moves and then be the reason that you get wrecked. And that wrecked a bunch of guys. That wreck was brought to you by the 07, but, it just did a number on the Pro Edge team. The 5, the 50, the 56. Unfortunate there for the Pro Edge guys. Unfortunately for a lot of guys involved, that 07, I'll tell you, I haven't heard the 07 come over and say sorry yet. But I do know this. Scott's not going to be happy about the outcome there.
I just extended the invitation to Josh Adams to come and talk to us, so we'll see if we've actually got Josh in the waiting room now.
Yeah, I brought him up. I was in the process of moving him up. We are now joined by Josh Adams. And Josh, I think your night's over, so you can stay with us for as long as you like. Talk to us about your night. obviously you didn't qualify as high as you wanted to. You found your way to the top 5, and then unfortunately you got wrecked out in the first major accident of the night.
Yeah, I was really good at the point of the race where everybody was still just, most people were still just kind of letting the car come to them, when I just kind of got to take my time on the bottom, and it became a hornet's nest for the top there when we wrecked, and everybody was just going super hard, so that's bound to happen, probably going to happen a few more times.
Now, we've seen you getting sideways there right before that accident. Do you kind of put it a little bit on yourself, dropping back there to some of those guys and getting yourself in that accident?
They were going to get to me either way. Like, Chad was one of the guys with tires, so like he would have gotten to me either way. But I had run pretty much the entire race up to that point on the bottom lane, and it felt really nice. And that was the first time I had went up and tried to test the wall, and after a few laps I didn't like it, and I was kind of unsteady at times, and so I just pulled back down to the bottom, and like I told Chad, I pulled down to the bottom, and like the same mistake that I made got me wrecked, so it's kind of unfortunate.
Well, if you want, you can stick with us here. We're going to talk about this restart. 20 to go here. Johnny Thomas pulls out of the way. I think he's got major damage. We saw him not get quite as lucky with that second wreck there. As the green flag is out, we got the 40 up here. We've got the 07 who we mentioned caused that last accident and did not really have much to say. Not a whole lot out of that 07 other than aggressive driving.
And the biggest thing about that is he took out the teammate of the leader, the guy that he's going to have to go and pass to try and win this race. So, Tyler's never going to make it easy on anybody, but now definitely it's not going to be easy after he just took out one of his cars.
And John Cutlip, we talked about him being involved in the wreck along with the 56. Well, they've moved to 3rd, and the Tate Lytle machine's trying to move up in there to 4th underneath the 10. All of a sudden we're seeing, like I mentioned, Ethan Stanley, Matthew Weeks, David Tooker, all these guys who have ran around 15th all night, all of a sudden are vying for this top 5 spot. Gerald Campbell, we talked about him earlier. Here he is up here as well, just outside the top 5.
Yeah, I think as hard as we saw Brandon Wilkinson drive back up towards the front.
Oh, Gerald. Oh, and the 93's around on the top side. Caution is out. Oh, and Crump's going to be involved in another one. The 46, the 8, the 71, a bunch of cars. Oh, man. Absolutely terrible there for the outside lane, but that saves Gerald from losing his spot. Because Gerald got sideways, but he saved it. The caution was the 93 of Joshua Chin. Both cars did a little synchronized spinning over there as we're looking at Kyle Hanshaw, who came into this wreck super late. See, there, the 93's already around. 51's already in it. There comes the 90. Ooh, the 71 came in there real late. We might see another tally for what we like to call ARCA brakes there on that 71 machine. Oh, we got big stories there. But real quick, while they're getting all that going on, Josh, talk to us a little bit more about what you thought about the car out there, and what you think we're going to see here. Kind of put on your pit reporter hat. What do you think we're going to see here over these last 15 laps, 10, 15 laps?
I think we're going to see a lot more of what we just saw right here. Everybody's going for it at this point. The track is really slick, corner exit off of the top, and I think that's where you've been seeing everybody have most of the problems. So now that guys aren't really running on the bottom trying to save their stuff and everybody's just going for it, I think Fody's probably just in for another win, getting to sit there and watch all the cautions go by.
Well, you say that, but John Cutlip is on tires, and so was Tate Lytle. We talked to Ethan, and he said, man, getting tires there when the strategy split was a bad call, kind of hard on himself. But that call might ultimately win the race. It just didn't work out for him.
Yeah, it may, but we see this every week. Where guys just get too aggressive, and we're starting to see it in this race, the last 30 laps or so. So
I will
that's
say this,
definitely
though.
less caution.
Has this not been the best Bristol race that we've had in Elite in a long time? As far as like we've, kind of here these last 50, it's kind of went off the rails. But I think everybody was pleasantly surprised with the first 100 laps of this race.
Yeah, I mean, we've had good long runs in the past at Bristol. So I don't know if I can't really say it's the best one, but it's been pretty good.
Well, here we go, coming into the restart zone. Fody gets a good launch. Cutlip's going to try to hang on his outside. That's what Cutlip's trying to do with his tires. He's not going to be able to do it. Oh, they make contact. Oh, Weeks is around. Tooker's around. Dustin, Dewar, Harry. Oh, big junk. Scott Crump is going for 3 here. The 20, massive pack
I'm John
accident.
Cutlip. I'm not happy with what Tyler Fody just did off of turn 2.
Oh, my goodness. And I think that was Pro Edge on Pro Edge crime back there for the accident. Yeah, and the 11 is picking up the tally for the accident. So, how's the team meeting going to go there at Pro Edge for that teammate on teammate situation? And poor Kyle Hanshaw down there trying to blend back into the race. And I mean, the wreck literally caught up to Kyle Hanshaw down there on the apron. A little bit of contact late there. Harry trying to get going. Harry doing some burnouts. Harry not wanting to sit still. Very unfortunate there.
Yeah, I think those two guys are going to be upset with each other, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as we may think. That just seemed like the mistake we've been seeing a lot of tonight. Pretty easy to do.
Let's see what Gerald sees. Ooh. Gerald tries to get on the apron. Oh, and he hits the 46. I don't think there's a whole lot there. The 46 is slow, trying to get up to speed. We are at 1 to go here. It's going to be a restart with 6 to go. Unfortunate for Kyle that the wreck caught him, but there's no way the 00 knew that he was down there. There's no way. They're just trying to dodge the wreck there. I mean, did you guys see anything different there? Well, I'll ask you first, Josh, because Jake's obviously race control, and it's going to be down to him. But did you see anything there that Gerald probably could have done different? He was just trying to miss the wreck, and unfortunately, Kyle was really slow where he was in that last wreck.
Yeah, that happens so fast that it just kind of falls in his lap.
Here we go. Tyler Fody gets a big jump. Better jump this time. You mentioned that the 5 might be mad. I guess we're fixing to find out. He's not going to be able to stay up there. The 51's really struggling. Oh, we're wrecking at the back. Mark, Tom. Oh, the 21, the 8. Mark is not good right now. He's wheels up, boys. Oh, he landed. Mark has rolled back over.
Sorry, I'm not going to show the
Super.
replays because if drivers are going to complain about the blinking up by iRacing, 50 cars are going all over the track and my iRacing can't keep up. I'm sorry, my broadcast is so.
So we will not get a replay, but I will tell you the 99 was running up. He hit the wall, came down, hit the 61, and the 21 came in, and Mark rolled over. Oh, man. Absolutely vicious hit there. Well, Josh, thanks for coming up here, giving us some time. We will let you jump back out of here, jump down there with your teammates, get ready for next week. Before we let you exit out of the booth, are there any sponsors you want to thank, shout-outs you want to give here, and any news you want to share moving down further through this season and then the next?
No, just my team at Shift Esports. We had another kind of crappy night, which has been kind of the norm for most of the season in this series. I've got my Southtown on the card, Juicy Spider Studios, numbers by Joe. So just everybody that makes the card look nice, Seth painting it, all that stuff. So make sure, if you haven't, check out the High Side podcast on the Juicy Spider Network on YouTube. We're going to be recording another episode here in a few days, so that's been taken off pretty well. So.
Well, all right, Josh, thanks for giving us your time up here for these last 10 or 15 minutes. We look forward to watching you in action next week and being out there on the racetrack with you on Wednesday.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we are down to green-white checkers. It is going to be Tyler Fody versus the 07 of Brandon Wilkinson. Ethan Stanley all of a sudden right here appearing in the top 5. Green is out. Great jump for Tyler Fody to get away from that 07. Leaving the 91 to try to race him for second. Big run off the top for Stanley.
It's a great jump there for Tyler. That should just about be enough for him to ride it home, but Ethan Stanley not so fast. I believe he's one of the ones that we have with tires.
I just think he needed a little bit more time to get there.
Yeah, and it would have to be a pretty big dive bomb. It's not going to happen.
And it's going to be Fody, Stanley, Cutlip, Rexing, and Wilkinson. Top 5 right there. What a great finish after the chaos we had. Tate Lytle just outside the top 5. Gerald Campbell, Michael Hossack, Scott Crump, Joe Francis round out your top 10. Great finish. We had a great first half. The second half, we kind of had a lot of issues there with just patience running out, guys not cutting brakes, guys pushing a little bit too hard. Nonetheless, the JD Designs 40 machine is going to win the race here at Bristol. And we will take our last commercial break, and on the other side of the break, we'll have interviews from our top 3 that include Tyler Fody, Ethan Stanley, and John Cutlip. So stick with us, and we'll be back here in just a minute.
Since 2010, race fans have had one burning question. When will the Xfinity Series return to Worldwide Technology Raceway? You asked, NASCAR delivered. On Saturday, September 6, 2025, the magic is back. The track that launched the legendary careers of Harvick, Busch, Keselowski, Edwards, and Earnhardt Jr. is now ready to write that next chapter. We're going to introduce you to a new crop of future champions and Hall of Famers. And in the process, we'll create more of the greatest moments in racing history. NASCAR Weekend 2025, the NASCAR Cup Series Championship Playoffs, the Confluence Music Festival, and now 250 miles of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 2 incredible races, 1 challenging track, a 3-day party of epic proportions. Go to www.raceway.com and lock in your weekend racing and camping packages for as little as $20 down.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And welcome back here to the Elite Racing Network, where we have just wrapped up the Bristol 175, live from Bristol Motor Speedway, and I am currently standing here talking to John Cutlip, our third-place finisher. John, we saw you out there tonight. We saw you on the bottom a whole lot there until the end when you went up to the top there. I guess, I don't know, when that rash of cautions was breaking out, maybe you were forced up there. But talk to us about your night and why we saw you on the bottom so much tonight.
Yeah, it's another one of those stories where you kind of just like put clown makeup on and think you're going to get a long run, and unfortunately didn't really play out except for the one run, which our tires started to cycle back to where we were up a couple of tenths on the field, and then ended up getting a caution, so it wiped our advantage out. But yeah, after we start getting rash cautions, it's pretty much just go as fast as you can go and just hope you're in the right lane that goes forward.
Now, we had Josh Adams with us up here, and he was up here at a pivotal point in the race when you were driving to the outside of Tyler Fody. So talk to us about that move off of 2. Was that fair or was that foul?
Yeah, I don't know. I just got fenced, so we'll have to see going forward.
Are we saying foul? Or is that what we're saying? Look, we want all the smoke here. I got a big spoon.
We'll have to see.
Well, there you heard it. John said Tyler's going to get his on Wednesday. Make sure y'all tune in and watch for all the action that we'll see there on Wednesday night. Right, John?
Like I said, we'll have to see.
I'm trying, guys. I'm trying to put John on the spot. But talk to us about your night overall. Are you happy with the third place finish? We know, I believe you came and got tires there when, Ethan Burrell did. We talked to him, and he talked about how tires, the strategy split. He got obviously involved in a wreck. Didn't work out for him, but it worked out pretty good for you and your teammate there, and Tate Lytle, who ultimately fell back to 6th. But do you still think that was the right call?
Yes and no. I didn't think tires were going to be that big of an advantage until I think the stop before we pitted that first tires that just marched up to us. Unfortunately, Ethan and all of them got caught in a wreck, which set them backwards. I feel like one of them were probably going to win the race if that didn't happen. But yeah, the handling of the car was pretty weird. It was pretty snug and then a little loose, but it was pretty much any group would work, just depending on how you drive it. It was really fun to drive. It was just really different. I'm not really sure how to explain it, but yeah, I feel like we made the right call at the end. It's just cautions kept coming out and got stuffed.
Well, John, before we let you jump out of here, why don't you shout out your sponsors, your team, and I think you'll have a little bit of fences to mend tomorrow. We had some Pro Edge on Pro Edge crime out here tonight late in the race, so you can talk a little bit about that too if you would like.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what was going on. There's like a lot of talking going on in Discord, but yeah, thanks to Race EPI, great group of guys for Open. If you ever want to try racing winning setups for stuff like that, definitely go check them out. Shout out to you guys here at Elite, Dave, Chris, and Jacob. It's got to be rough calling races like that sometimes because it's like the racing could be so good if we can get it rolling. It's just, unfortunately, just a lot of things out of our control and just, got to work on it a bit.
I gotta be honest, John. It was a great race tonight. That first 100 laps was awesome. I feel like it might have been the best, Bristol race that we have had as far as racing wise. You guys had a lot of green flag runs, and at the end, those last 50. I mean, we kind of knew it was coming, but hey, don't be Debbie Downer on this stuff. It was actually really great for the first half, 3/4 of this race tonight. You guys put on a great show.
Yeah, when it was green, it was a blast. Everyone was sliding. It was just working different lanes. It's just, unfortunately, cautions breed cautions, and it turns into a battle of aggression, and everyone's just trying to take everything they can get for whatever position that they can get.
Well, all right, John, we will let you jump out of here and prepare for next week's race. I don't even know where we're at next week, to be honest with you, but
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis, there we go. So Chad's probably already practicing. His night ended early, so Chad's probably already turned at least 50 laps by now.
Yeah, funny enough, I was planning on running a part-time schedule, but the Xfinity Series schedule's been a lot of fun, so I've been enjoying it.
So are you saying we'll see you on the racetrack next week as well?
Probably. I'm not sure how the schedule is looking. It's been so long, but I remember like before the season, I was thinking this might be pretty fun. So
Well, I'll tell you what. If you decide to sit out any of these races, the booth is always open. You're always welcome. We could always use somebody who actually knows what they're talking about. I mean, Jake and I do our best. You know, we sell the BS as far as we can, but to get somebody like yourself up here talking about saving tires and whatnot, because we think you're one of the best tire savers in the game. So doors always open for you, John.
I appreciate it. You guys do a great job talking about the racing too, so don't sell yourself short.
Well, on that note, we'll let you jump out of here, prepare for next week, and everybody make sure you tune in back next week at Indianapolis. Sounds like John will be on the track. If not, I'm sure he will be there on Wednesday night at Fontana. So if you're a fan of John Cutlip, you'll always be able to find him here on the Elite Racing Network somewhere.
Yep, have a good night.
All right, Jake, I think you're standing down there with our second place finisher here.
Yep, I've caught up with Ethan Stanley, second place here at Bristol. Ethan, kind of quiet night for you. We didn't really mention you on the broadcast a whole lot, but you seem to have a way of finding yourself up here in the interview booth quite frequently, even if you don't have the best night. So just take us through, talk us about your night and how it all went for you.
Yeah, I qualified mid-pack, and that's kind of where I felt like I was on pace. Just Bristol isn't really my track, especially on the long runs. Just trying to survive, and just towards the end there, I played the strategy right. Ended up on fresh tires, and we had a couple big accidents as well that helped out. So yeah, I was able to get up there and then get the restart with Tyler at the end, and P2 is more than I could ever ask for around here.
Oh yeah, Bristol's always one of those places that you're unsure if you should pit when you do, because it kind of just ends how we just witnessed that race end with a rash of cautions. But it definitely worked out for you. You're able to pass a lot of cars out there, and made your car look good doing it. So go ahead and get your shout outs out of the way, and tell everybody who gets you to the track every week.
Yeah, big shout out to Blue Egg Marketing being a sponsor with the team. Big shout out to JD Designs making all these great paints through the weeks. Big shout out to you guys up in the booth, always putting on a great product. Big thanks to the guys at Lake Norman. We had a pretty solid night overall. 1-2, of course. Big thanks to Chad and all the admins and Dave and everybody that runs this league.
All right, and then before we let you go, we've got Indianapolis next week. So what's your outlook for next week?
I'm usually pretty good at Indy. Don't know how good I am in the Xfinity car around there, but we'll have to see.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and let you go. I'm sure we'll probably talk to you next week, even though you're unsure about how it's going. But you have yourself a good night.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.
All right, Jake, now we got the race winner. We'll tag team this one. All right, I'll let you start, Jake, and then I got a couple questions for him hereafter as well.
All right, well, Tyler, you're going to put that green box next to your name, locking yourself into the playoffs. We're going to start out. I think I'm going to steal Chris's question. Talk to us a little bit first off about that contact with John Cutlip there in the closing laps of the race.
Yeah, I feel terrible about it. I obviously not something you want to do, especially to a guy like John. And just with how fast things are happening at this track, the last few restarts I had been plenty clear of the outside lane by the exit of 2, and that restart in particular, I was trying to wait to go, and I was just getting run over from behind. So I didn't really get to go when I wanted to, so I spun the tires up pretty good, and Cutlip was able to kind of hang down the front stretch into 1 and 2, but really didn't think he was going to be anywhere close, just because of the preferred lane that I had and how slow we were going, just getting up to speed. So I just went in there to the bottom, and every restart prior was just waiting for the clear high, looking at the mirror. And that one in particular, it was a combination of I was clear for maybe a second, enough for it to tell me I was clear. And I was also watching in the mirror at Wilkinson, who was right on my bumper. So I never really looked out to the outside with John, which is my bad again. And so the last thing I had heard was clear, and I started driving up, and it was literally as I was starting to look over to the right there, I saw his nose was there, and it was too late, and the tires were so old. There was no chance to try and turn it away from him. So 100% on me. I feel terrible that happened to John. John is easily the most respected guy, or a guy that I have the most respect for in this league with all he does for our team personally, and then just how he drives. Not someone you want to do that to, but yeah, I take full blame for that. Just the closing speeds around here were just so crazy that you're clear for 1 second and you look away and he's there. So I understand the frustration from his side, but I hope he understands that it was not anything intentional.
Yeah, well, definitely. Well, at the end of the day, you're in victory lane, so it's celebrate that one. Chris, I think you got a few questions for Tyler. We'll let you take over.
You stole it. You stole my question. So all I'm going to say,
your spoon is bigger than mine, so you can go ahead and take over.
That's not the only thing. Anyway, John said he's coming for you, Tyler. How are you going to approach Wednesday? Are you going to be watching for John?
Yeah, I heard the interview, Chris. You don't got to try and stir stuff.
That's what I'm good for, man. I got to try to do what I can out here.
I know.
So talk to us about your car tonight. Was it pretty good? We saw you stay out. Did you think maybe you should have pitted when all those guys pitted, and then they had the big wrecked some of them, wrecked some, ultimately staying out won you the race, but pitting, your teammate finished second, and we didn't see him in the top 10 all night.
Yeah, this was a little bit of a slightly different Bristol than what we normally get. It went about 10, 15 laps too long for my strategy to be the optimal one. But yeah, just in the past, the way you always approach these is you want to try and be the first guy to make your last pit stop, if that makes sense. And I think we came in around like 80-ish, 90-ish, something like that. Maybe it was a little earlier, but yeah, it was running up front, and it kind of worked out where the majority of the field was going to be pitting, so we could still have the track position. And yeah, I did the one pit stop, and really was just trying to manage the tires, because Scott and I kind of both agreed, like, we're not going back there again, regardless of how many runs we get, because every time we come here, no matter what the strategy is, the last 20 laps, it's going to be people running each other over with the new tires and old tires and all that. So it did play out perfectly, I feel like, up to about lap 160. And I forget what restart it was. It might have been the one where Scott got wiped out, but John and Tate and Stanley, all the guys that had taken 4 pretty recently, got like a straight shot up to the front. So that really was not what we wanted to see. I was okay with racing Wilkinson with our tire difference, but like I said earlier, Cutlip and Tate and all those guys, just I had nothing for them if we went more than 2 laps. So yeah, I'm happy to get away with this one, luck into this one, honestly. But yeah, as far as the strategy, it was everything we were looking for.
Yeah, I know we're running a little bit long here, and I know we want to wind down and get this thing over with, but I do have one question for you. You brought it up here. I forgot. I wish I would have remembered and asked John when I was talking to him. This was the first race at Bristol since we got the new track state and how the lanes move around, and they tried to make multi-groove racing better. Did you notice that out there, and was that one of the reasons you think tires ultimately was the call, because you could pass a little bit easier? It still looked like it was hard to pass at times, but did you notice any difference from the last time we were here?
Yeah, tire temp made a big deal. I noticed that, especially early on. A lot of guys kind of just favor the top because that's like traditional Bristol, but based off what we were getting in practice, we were all dead set on just running the bottom to middle every chance you could. Obviously, you had to run to the top when guys were getting runs on you to defend your spot, but what worked out in the long run for Scott and I when we cycled to second and third there on that really long run was just running the bottom and just kind of pacing yourself, because you heat the tires up so bad and running the top. So when that started to happen, guys were starting to fall off. We made the track position back, but I did notice like every restart or caution, when the tires cooled back down, it could run anywhere. So it was really, I felt like, just a temperature management deal, depending on what line you ran. So it was cool. I enjoyed it.
Well, before I let you jump out of here, are there any shout outs you want to give, any thank yous you want to give, and who helps get you guys to the racetrack week in, week out?
Yeah, well, obviously the Lake Norman guys, always fun running with them. Stanley, I literally didn't know he was racing with us until like the last 20 laps, which is not normal. But yeah, he was back mid-pack, I guess, most of the race, did some tire strategy, got up there at the end. So pretty cool to go 1-2. Scott, obviously, feel for him, is running better than me, honestly, before he got wrecked there, but got back to 9th. My dad, 14th. That's pretty cool. He was wrecked a few times. It's always cool to see him up there. And then Dylan was trying. He was trying, but he got just into too much trouble there. So, but yeah, always fun running with those guys. So thanks to them. Ironically enough, thanks to John Cutlip for painting all of our schemes. Hopefully he's not too upset because we are going to need some ARCA cars soon. So maybe if you see us showing up to the new ARCA season with blank cars, then you'll know what the reason is for that. But again, feel real bad for what happened, but always thankful for his services there with the paints. And shout out to you guys too for putting on the race control and the broadcast, producing all the behind the scenes stuff. It's always fun to watch it back.
All right, Tyler, we will let you jump out of here. Thanks for coming up here and talking to us. Congrats on the win, and we can't wait to see you next week from Indy.
Sounds good.
Well, as we wrap this thing up, Jake, any final thoughts from you tonight from Bristol here before we get ready to prepare to go to that big racetrack up in Indianapolis?
Yeah, we kind of did the opposite of what we have been seeing this season, with green to start or yellow to start and then green to finish. We decided to have green to start here and yellow to finish. Really thought we were having a pretty easy job for the most part, and then it all kind of just broke loose there towards the end. But overall, we've got another driver locked into the championship. That makes 2 Lake Norman cars locked into the title race or the championship fight. So that'll be good to see, and see if any new winners next week.
Dave, any final thoughts from you from Bristol here before we head to Indianapolis? Well, I got some final thoughts. It was a great race tonight. I know a lot of guys are going to remember the last 50 laps and talk about how bad it was. And, if I was out there on the racetrack and it worked against me, I might be doing the same thing. But from where I sat tonight, I think the first 100 laps are great. We saw some of the best racing I think we've seen at Bristol here with that new track state. I can't wait to see the second half of what they're going to bring to us here with this new build, with the new scan, with all the updates they're doing here for the oval side. I think the racing is going to get a lot better, not just at Bristol, but everywhere moving forward here with the new track state and all the new things that they're adding here, really updating the oval side. I think it has a lot to do with the NASCAR license that they have picked up with the video game coming out, that they're really all of a sudden here in these next, we've seen it in the last 3 months, and we're seeing it a lot of things planned out for the next 3 or 4 months. So a whole lot of updates, a whole lot of quality of life updates here, and some updates on the sim to this oval stuff. I can't wait to see what it all brings. As for us, the ARCA season ended last week, so there is no ARCA race tomorrow night, so your Tuesday just freed up. Go out, spend some time with the family, maybe some mini putt-putt out there tomorrow or something. But Wednesday night, we'll have full distance live action from Fontana for the Elite Belly Up Sports Series. Thursday, the IndyCar guys will be in action, and next Sunday we'll be back in action for the trucks, and then you'll have us back with you next week at Indianapolis, where we will have a lot of green flag action. It's going to be a lot of great racing. I think our fuel strategy stuff will come back. Our tire strategy stuff will come back. So if you liked what you've seen tonight, make sure you tune in a week from tonight. Same time next week, you'll see us live from Indianapolis. And a shout out to everybody here at ERN as well. Everybody who helped put this thing on tonight. Chad for all he does for the league. Dave here at ERN keeping all of us in line. And give a big shout out to Jake for giving us the time tonight to not just race control, but to broadcast. Josh gave us a lot of time. We talked to a lot of drivers tonight, so shout out to all the drivers we talked to. And I think we're going to try to get some more driver interaction during these cautions moving forward. So next week at Indianapolis, we'll see if we remember to do all that and keep all that in line. But make sure you tune in next week. Well, we will be live at Indianapolis.